There we go.
We go.
16.
16.
Episode 16. We're live.
We are live. Yeah, welcome back. You are who again?
I am Adam.
And I'm Steve.
There it is. This is WhiteBoard.
WhiteBoard Sessions.
There it is.
Yeah.
As everybody knows by now, one of us picks a topic, and then what you get is authentic feedback. This is how we operate. And
yeah, that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah.
But not today.
No, not today.
No.
Because.
So, it's December, and coming up in future podcasts in the next, few days, couple weeks, you're going to get a year-end review. We got some ideas on how to do that. But we were looking at some metrics, some actual YouTube social marketing metrics to see the impact of this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then out of nowhere, out of the blue, Adam McGuire utters a phrase I've never heard before, which is...
Vanity Metrics.
Vanity Metrics, ladies and gentlemen.
Vanity Metrics, yep.
Dude, what is Vanity Metrics?
So some of you may know what this is, some of you may not. So for those who don't, for everyone, Vanity Metrics is essentially like metrics on your social channels or metrics for any part of your business that are just that. They're vanity. They're ego driven. They're, whatever it may be, that they're not actually a good metric to go by and follow. It's vanity metrics are like somebody coming to you and say, hey, you know what, Adam, Steve, I really want more likes on my these posts. I really want more followers on Facebook, but they're just vanity metrics. Like they don't, yeah, sure, you could correlate some to some type of revenue or success or whatever, but the point shouldn't be to get more likes on your posts and more followers on your page.
It's meaningless.
Exactly.
Right. It might make you feel good.
Exactly.
But it's doing nothing for you.
It's like when people say, oh, this, I hear this all the time from agencies or people trying to sell certain products. So, you get 100,000 impressions. We got 1 million impressions. Okay, well, yeah. Impressions mean absolutely nothing. Impressions are like the biggest vanity metric.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, who actually interacted with my post? Okay, they liked it. Okay, well, let's take it a step further and not let it be vanity. Who actually made a purchase decision or took another step further? Who became a lead, a warm lead, a closed lead? Who became a customer? Let's get some real metrics.
Right.
Metrics.
So there were a couple things that when you uttered that statement and defined what it is, it triggered a few things. One, going back a bunch of years, when LinkedIn started to become relevant, like really relevant.
Yeah.
And I was speaking a lot of places and people were wanting promotions or jobs or whatever. And they say, oh man, my LinkedIn file kicks ass, and I'm just not getting any traction. And it's like, and the question is, they're like, why? My LinkedIn is really awesome. Well, the question is, what are you doing to get people to see your LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Right? And so then people think, oh, well, I'll just, I don't know, send out all these meaningless requests, right? Do you get some of those too?
Yeah, oh yeah,
where people say, I don't know, lately New York and something's been going on this week because I've gotten a bunch of LinkedIn stuff and it's like, who are you? Why do I want to know you?
Yeah.
But I think that they're trying to drive what I now know is
Vanity metrics. Maybe I have more connections, so I look more important, or I look more, my network's bigger, so I'm
right. And it's totally
successful.
bogus.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have legitimate connections.
No.
It's all vanity. It might be making themselves feel good to themselves, but it's doing nothing for actually growing their business.
Which is kind of an egotistical driven view of it.
Right. It's very ego driven. And so there was Wayne Dyer is a guy that I think he hit significance back in the 70s with a book called The Erroneous Zones. And then I never read that one, but he wrote another book called The Power of Intention, where he defined ego is that external thing, right? It's only fed externally, and ego always wants more, right? You get to a certain level of income and your ego wants more, certain level of success and your ego wants more. And so he talked about ego being three things, what I have, which is the material things, what I've done, which is achievements, and then my reputation, which is what other people think about me. Right? Those are all external things. What I own, what I've done, and what other people think about me. And that's, like I said, it's this insatiable metric, which is vanity metrics.
Exactly.
It's not really. Did you want to say something?
No. Well, it just had reminded me that when you just those three things right there, you could relate to how people post on social media.
Thank you.
What do I have?
Yeah.
What do other people think of me? And I don't know.
Yeah, it cracks me up. Now I'm showing my age because, yes, I am mid 50s and I will admit that, I occasionally probably daily look at Facebook. And I always say that Facebook is really, they should just rename it bitch, brag, and preach. Right?
Yeah.
It's all about this vanity thing. And it cracks me up when you don't see anybody really posting and all of a sudden they go on vacation or they buy a new house or they get a new car or their kid wins one thing. Well, that's great and everything. And I think that some people will be offended by simply me saying that. But the intent really is to, I think, with all respect, everybody, feed the ego.
Yeah, it is. What it is now, for sure. I think when social media was, kind of when Facebook was at its peak, or even when it was starting out, it was so much about connecting with other people.
Yes.
Which is what it was made for, right?
In a meaningful way. Absolutely,
exactly,
positively.
right? Even back in the day, maybe this is showing my age now, MySpace and some of those things before that, or even things like SoundCloud for artists to get exposure and to connect with other artists, or, like with MySpace, same thing, to learn more about the person, know their likes, what makes them tick, what they're into, which is funny because that's more relationship building and understanding, soft skill focus, like our last podcast, episode 15, than what we're seeing now. It's just it's a platform to do those.
Well, and I think this dovetails, and that's why sometimes you get absolute spontaneity with the two guys you see in front of you, that this was not an issue. This was not a topic that we had an hour ago.
Yeah, no.
It just popped up, and it dovetails with the last episode where you were talking about marketing being a soft skill and really making the effort, taking the time and having the skill set to draw out from people to truly understanding there's nothing vanity about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes
I should say.
Well, when we do these things, oftentimes we'll just have random discussions, you and I, and we'll be like, dang, wish we could have recorded that. And this time it just so happened that we were talking about, we're like, whoa, we just need to jump on and do a podcast on that. Because there's a lot of great stuff I think people can both learn, relate to, and you just, again, kind of get that spontaneity, that actual thing. Nothing's scripted with what we do. Nothing's planned really. It's just off the cuff.
Now, a couple of things that I want to make sure that we're getting across is that this isn't just us taking shots at vanity marketing and Facebook and meaningless LinkedIn things. This is about making sure that sometimes a business is relevant because of what it opposes. Things that were, and vanity, selling people on vain ideas that don't really serve their business or serve their character or build their brand.
Exactly.
Those are not things that we participate in. Those are not things that we advocate. We absolutely advocate at helping businesses and leaders and individuals and department get at a sense of their character, who they are, what they're all about, what's their signature move, how do they differentiate themselves in substantial, meaningful ways in the marketplace.
How are they starkly different?
Exactly.
Because if you just straight up ask somebody like that, like, how do you differentiate? What makes you different? A lot of people I don't want to dive too much into this, but a lot of people might say things like, our team is really good.
Yeah.
We're out there, or, we do this a little bit differently. And it's like, well, what's starkly different? Like, who are you? Right. Not, we have 1 million Facebook followers or something.
Exactly. And how many of them are passionate? How many of them really,
connect with your brand?
Related to what you're saying, there's an exercise that I've done for years with companies and teams where, in asking them what's unique and strong about their team or their business, and I've done this exercise hundreds or thousands of times, and every single time they'll start off, well, we like each other and we're committed and we work hard and we're innovative and so on and so forth. And there's always a dramatic pause in there where I'll pause and look at the whiteboard or the flip chart and I'll say, okay, question for you. If I went down the road to your next best competitor and asked them the exact same question, what makes you uniquely different and strong? How many of those answers would be identical to their answers?
It's very surface level, which is exactly what vanity metrics are. They're just surface level. They don't provide any meaning or any purpose or any deep meat to the convo.
Exactly. And a lot of times what the marketplace or the target market or your customer hears as wah, 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 wah,
exactly.
all sounds like the same thing.
Yep.
It's all vanity stuff. You're all talking about yourself rather than being substantial and meaningful about truly what you have to offer that's unique.
And that right there is where you are going to stand out in all of the noise and gaslighting and everything going on online right now. Right? You have to differentiate.
Right.
You have to have something meaningful to stand out, to be that starkly different. Otherwise, you're just going to get lost in the mix.
Right.
And then you're going to be upset if you don't have those vanity metrics too.
Right, exactly. So unless you got any other big points, I want to...
No, yeah.
So here's the bottom line of this thing, and this is absolutely the shameless self-promotion of this podcast and what it's intended to do. We are not going to come in there and offer you tips, tricks, or techniques to increase your vanity.
Yeah.
There's not going to be superficial, whatever the popular top flavor of the day type of stuff is.
Exactly.
The way that we approach stuff is really, truly try to get to know who you are, who your business is, what's it all about, clarify what that brand is, what your signature move is, and then help blast that through your culture, right?
Yep.
Through your people, build that into your processes and systems. You like to talk about this a lot.
Yep.
So that it's deeply embedded into everything that you do from the inside. So what gets experienced and felt on the outside is something that is truly unique, and it's about the people you're serving and not just about who you are.
Exactly. And that's where you're going to be delivering that kind of life-changing value to your customer, to your ideal customer. You're going to connect with them over that. You're going to connect with them over human emotion, over, empathy and emotional intelligence. You're not going to connect with them over, hey, did you like our Facebook page?
Yeah, right. What'd you think about that picture? Did you like that clever little quote we put out there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for uttering Vanity Metrics.
Metrics.
Yeah.
Episode
16.
16.
In the books.
There it is.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you.
guys.